I haven't read Solo Leveling in a few weeks, so let's check it out. Solo Leveling. Yep, there it is. There's probably 179, yeah? Chapter 179. And what? Wait a minute. If you haven't known already, the series Solo Leveling has came to an end. If you're not catch up or haven't read in a while, let me catch you up. So Sung Jin-woo has been fighting the Dragon Monarch, and even when it became day and his shadow got darker, it seems that the Dragon Monarch just dominated him. But then he used the other vessels of Fragment of Lights to create a portal or a gate so that the rulers can use to enter our world or their world. And then the rulers just proceed to beat up the Dragon Monarch. And then he is turned into shreds. And then we're introduced to the brightest fragment of luminosity, or like the guy who got the most power off of God. The brightest fragment of luminosity then thanks Sung Jin-woo and asks how he could show appreciation. Sung Jin-woo then asks for a request that only the brightest fragment of luminosity can do, which is to use the Cup of Reincarnation. What the Cup of Reincarnation does is rewinds time back to a certain period, but entities like gods and monarchs still retain their memories after the Cup of Reincarnation is used. Sung Jin-woo then says the reason why he wanted to use the Cup of Reincarnation is because he lost too many people and too many people died on the way. The rulers were then like, okay, fine, and then allowed him to use it. And then a little later, Sung Jin-woo realized he was in the body of a child, or mostly a younger version of himself, with a younger version of his sister trying to wake him up. After he leaves his room, he sees a younger version of his parents, his mother and his father. After seeing them, tears dropped out of Sung Jin-woo's eyes. He then relives the first few years of his childhood and then leaves. 27 years later, we see him dripped out with his shadow armor about to fight the Dragon Monarch, since he already killed all of the other ones. He then fights the dude, beats him, and then leaves. And then he is about to travel back into the real world, and time works differently between the real world and this dimensional gap, because they're in a dimensional rift thing right now. 27 years there is equivalent to about 2 years, so he has to come back in a child form to not look weird. And then there's this dude who congratulates him after he arrives for his success. The manhwa doesn't tell who he is, but I assume he's been sent by the Fragment of Light dudes. The dude tells Sung Jin-woo that all the problems have been solved since Sung Jin-woo killed out the monarchs, so there's nothing left to do. And then he lives happily ever after.